Hello, welcome to FHE with Chelsea, a place where we cherish, watch over, comfort one another, and gain instruction that we may all sit down in heaven together. Thank you for joining. That's a quick music credit to Christian Affleck, Body of Christ. So I have a lot of thank yous to go through. First of all, for High Five Live for hosting me this weekend. That was awesome. And it was able to let a lot of people know about our little FHE with Chelsea. So I have a big thank you to Shanae Headley, Amy Harry, Steve Valerio, Janie Fox, Denise Bello, Tina Cox, Kylie Bliss, Bonnie McPhee, Noreen Player, Joe Gallagher, Sarah Lee Allen, Estida Pena, Lorraine Roach, Diane Bliss, Corey Andrews, Linda Bradshaw, Will Perez, Corey Andrews, Brenda Isameyer for liking the Facebook page, and also Shelly Bishop, Latter Day Divers, and Amber Burkhart 19 for following me on Instagram. And then again, sometimes I can't see who subscribes to YouTube, so there are 3 people that subscribe to the YouTube page. So thank you all so much for the YouTube channel. So there is a big thank you. Thank you all so much and welcome. This is the outline for FHE with Chelsea. We're going to start with a hymn and a prayer. And tonight's hymn is Have I Done Any Good? And then there's a prayer screen that comes up where you can say a prayer in your own space. Our lesson tonight is from Elder Cook's address, Hearts Knit in Righteousness and Unity. And then we have a little activity and close with a hymn and a prayer. So this is Have I Done Any Good? Followed by a prayer.
Labor has buried
So that was Have I Done Any Good by the Tabernacle Choir. And for those watching on Facebook, no, I am not playing Helam, a Stripling Warrior Quest, but I have to choose a game to stream on multiple platforms, which is a little silly. But anyway, that's just my little disclaimer. Sorry if somebody jumps on and they think I'm going to be playing that, because I'm not. But so tonight's lesson is Hearts Knit in Righteousness and Unity by Elder Cook. Fantastic address, really awesome. So we're going to listen to the first part of his talk, and the question will be at the bottom of the screen, and it is, when is a time you were treated with dignity and respect? How did that impact you? So instead of talking about what are ways we treat others with dignity and respect, when is a time you were treated with dignity and respect, and how did that impact you? And we'll listen to this part of his address.
Righteousness and unity are profoundly significant. When people love God with all their hearts and righteously strive to become like Him, there is less strife and contention in society. There is more unity. I love a true account that exemplifies this. As a young man not of our faith, General Thomas L. Kane assisted and defended the saints as they were required to flee Nauvoo. He was an advocate for the church for many years. In 1872, General Kane, his talented wife, Elizabeth Wood Kane, and their 2 sons traveled from their home in Pennsylvania to Salt Lake City. They accompanied Brigham Young and his associates on a trek south to St. George, Utah. Elizabeth approached her first visit to Utah with reservations about the women. She was surprised by some of the things she learned. For instance, she found that any career by which a woman could earn a living was open to them in Utah. She also found church members were kind and understanding with respect to Native Americans. During the trip, they stayed in Fillmore at the home of Thomas R. and Matilda Robinson King. Elizabeth wrote that as Matilda was preparing a meal for President Young and his company, 5 American Indians came into the room. Although uninvited, it was clear they expected to join the company. Sister King spoke to them in their dialect. They sat down with their blankets with a pleasant look on their faces. Elizabeth asked one of the King children, "What did your mother say to those men?" Matilda's son's reply was, she said, "These strangers came first, and I have only cooked enough for them. But your meal is on the fire cooking now, and I will call you as soon as it is ready." Elizabeth asked, "Will she really do that, or just give them scraps at the kitchen door?" Matilda's son answered, "Mother will serve them just as she does you and give them a place at her table." And so she did, and they ate with perfect propriety. Elizabeth explained that this hostess rose 100% in her opinion. Unity is enhanced when people are treated with dignity and respect, even though they are different in outward characteristics. As leaders, we are not under the illusion that in the past, all relationships were perfect, all conduct was Christ-like, or all decisions were just. However, our faith teaches that we are all children of our Father in heaven, and we worship Him and His Son, Jesus Christ, who is our Savior. Our desire is that our hearts and minds will be knit in righteousness and unity, and we will be one with them.
Really, really neat historical account. So awesome. And I'm so glad he shared that, because I just thought that that was so neat. So as comments were coming in, I started thinking about a time, well, I thought about my own question of when I felt like I was treated with dignity and respect. And I feel like the very first, stand out-ish times is times I've had with teachers growing up. And again, I'm biased towards educators with both my parents being retired public educators. But anyway, I think that that's sometimes the first real time that you can be treated with dignity and respect is in those kinds of situations through leaders and adults. So I don't know, that's how it impacted me. And again, I think when you're treated with dignity and respect, it impacts you in a way that you feel like you have value. And not that that's where your value comes from, but it helps you enhance the idea that you are worthy of dignity and respect because you are a child of God. So anyway, feel free to comment in as we move on to the next section of his address. And this question is, what would an oasis of unity look like? And we will listen to this part of his address and the questions at the bottom.
The historical record we read in 4th Nephi describes a people where there were no envyings, strifes, tumults, lyings, murders, or any manner of lasciviousness. Because of this righteousness, the record states, surely there could not be a happier people among all the people who had been created by the hand of God. With respect to unity, 4th Nephi reads, there was no contention in the land because of the love of God, which did dwell in the hearts of the people. Unfortunately, 4th Nephi then describes a dramatic change that began in the 201st year, when iniquity and division destroyed righteousness and unity. The depths of depravity that then occurred were subsequently so evil that ultimately the great prophet Mormon laments to his son Moroni, but, O my son, how can a people like this, whose delight is in so much abomination, how can we expect that God will stay his hand in judgment against us? In this dispensation, although we live in a special time, the world has not been blessed with the righteousness and unity described in 4th Nephi. Indeed, we live in a moment of particularly strong divisions. However, the millions who have accepted the gospel of Jesus Christ have committed themselves to achieving both righteousness and unity. We're all aware that we can do better, and that is our challenge in this day. We can be a force to lift and bless society as a whole. At this 200-year hinge point in our church history, let us commit ourselves as members of the Lord's church to live righteously and be united as never before. President Russell M. Nelson has asked us to demonstrate greater civility, racial and ethnic harmony, and mutual respect. This means loving each other and God and accepting everyone as brothers and sisters and truly being a Zion people. With our all-inclusive doctrine, we can be an oasis of unity and celebrate diversity. Unity and diversity are not opposites. We can achieve greater unity as we foster an atmosphere of inclusion and respect for diversity. During the period I served in the San Francisco, California Stake Presidency, we had Spanish, Tongan, Samoan, Tagalog, and Mandarin language-speaking congregations. Our English-speaking wards were composed of people from many racial and cultural backgrounds. There was love, righteousness, and unity. Wards and branches in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are determined by geography or language, not by race or culture. Race is not identified on membership records. Early in the Book of Mormon, approximately 500 years before the birth of Christ, we are taught the fundamental commandment regarding the relationship between Father and Heaven's children. We are to keep the Lord's commandments, and all are invited to partake of the Lord's goodness. And he denieth none that come unto him, black and white, bond and free, male and female, and he remembereth the heathen, and all are alike unto God, both Jew and Gentile.
I really, really like what he says. Again, this thought of an oasis of unity. And I like this for several reasons. One is because an oasis is so contrasting to a desert, and that it is a place of relief and a place of, something to look forward to. And I like the symbolism behind thinking of an oasis of unity, especially with inviting others to come and see what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believes, because We are to be different from the world in a place where people can find rest and peace. And so I just think thinking about an oasis of unity is really, really cool. And when thinking about hearts knit together and how diversity and unity can go hand in hand, I think is really cool, because again, like, we are all made differently. And so I just think that that's a really neat thing to be thinking about. So that was our little lesson for tonight. And then I have this little water activity. I know my description was wrong because I accidentally copied and pasted wrong. So I have some water here, and I'm going to probably flip my camera down. So we all know, well, it's like really crooked, but okay. Oh, Janice. Okay, hold on a second. Billion Grave Service Project was an oasis of unity within families and sharing the experiences with each other on the stake Facebook page. Unity in the desire to serve, to help gather Israel. And now my sister, who isn't a church member and lives in Arizona, has started volunteering for the Billion Graves. Let's see, Billion Graves website. That is so cool, Janice. And hello, thank you for joining. That is really awesome. And I think service is a really great way. And I like that, because we can have little oases throughout our journey through the desert, right? Within our families and within communities, or within, I don't know, marriages or whatever, that there can be more than one oasis of unity. And I think that that's really cool that she had that experience. And I think that that's just so awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so this is our little activity I have. And thank you so much again. Okay, so I found this off the... Okay, let's see. Off the church's website, and I don't know if I did this. So we all know if you try and pour this in there, sometimes it doesn't go very well. So, but if we can, well, I have to get this wet first. We just never know how these experiments are going to go. Okay. And then it says to just get it like damp. And then I have to tape it in this one. So by itself, right, it's not going to do very much. I don't know if that's going to mess it up by doing that. Oh, no. But now, like, that's all wet. Okay, let's see. And then supposedly, if I dump this water, you can see how trusting I am of it because I have a tray here. Then it will... I think it just has to kind of... Okay. So if I hold this tight with this, supposedly it will just dump in there really nicely. I know, using the tape is not working very well. Let's see. So supposedly it's just supposed to go like... Nope, it's not going to work. So hypothetically, it's probably my string is really like... chintzy. But supposedly if you do that and you dump it, it's supposed to like go at a diagonal and just go like straight in there because they're tied together and they're unified. But it's another failed vlog here as my experiments go. So you all can see how it is supposed to go, and I will just copy this into chat so you all can see what the experiment was supposed to be with having unity. But anyway, there you go. Okay, so there's some other activities I probably could have done that would have probably gone better than that, but that's okay. Okay, so for our closing hymn, I have Let Us Off Speak Kind Words to Each Other by the Tabernacle Choir, and then there will be a prayer screen come up, and we'll wrap up.
Well
Thank you all so much for coming and participating in FHE with Chelsea, and for all those who were on High Five Live this weekend. That was so awesome, and I really do appreciate it so much. And I look forward to next week as we study Elder Razban's address, Recommended to the Lord. Epic talk. Really excited. So please subscribe to the YouTube and follow and all that jazz so that more people can join in the fun. But in the meantime, let us all press on and remember this: kindness begins with me. See ya!